Hey golfers, been asked to describe what I mean by functional swing plane. So first, let's give credit where credit's due. Dr. Kwan is the biomechanist down at Texas Women's University who coined the phrase functional swing plane. So check out his homepage and his research online. Phenomenal stuff. Because the way I relate to it is, what does the club do from the center of mass of the club head to a point about the center of the mass of the grip? This is called an R-axis in some of the research, but basically what that does is, at impact, this shaft will bow in different directions, and the center mass of the club head's trying to line up with the center mass of the hands. So if you see me drawing lines that go from the center mass here to the grip, that's what I'm doing, because that's kind of where it lines up. So what we want to do is think about that R-axis as being on this plane, and we can look at it from, I'll shoot it down from this angle. We'll see this is a 2D representation of it. And that's what you can also do. So when you see people drawing lines of shafts, this is basically what it is we get this club swinging on a particular plane from here and here. Okay, but realize that I'm looking at it is only from this area to this area is where that club head and the grip work on a particular plane, okay? And that plane could be inside out, it could be outside in, and obviously it can be parallel to the target. So we have a lot of different ways to do it, and we'll see in Dr. Kwan's research that obviously once this shaft gets above parallel to the ground, that club head and the shaft are not in plane anymore, and it can move in a lot of different directions. It'd be like a cross-line Matt Wolf and then rotate it around. But you'll see as it comes to impact, because we're striking this golf ball, everything now has to get lined back up again. Here's what we've learned from the engineers running the golf equipment robots. The club head needs to be delivered plus or minus 3 degrees with the face perpendicular to the path, or in this case, pointing square to the target. If we see the path get too much inside, too much outside, even if the face is square, we're going to see some curvature to the ball. And obviously when that face is open and closed too much relative to the path, we're going to get curvature to the ball. Let's take a look at how the club gets delivered into the ball, into this functional swing plane. So at address, we have this particular alignment here, and I'll work at this particular angle right about here. And I think for sake of simplicity, we can think of it as the shaft line, or the shaft plane. So I'm good with that too. So as this club moves, and I'll just do it horizontal because it's easier. As this club moves through impact, there's minimal shaft rotation relative to the plane. This would be a lot of shaft rotation relative to the plane, okay? We look at the better ball strikers, we don't see a lot of this, unless that face is open doing this. But you can see timing it up just right is very challenging. So I would prefer to keep this on this shaft plane or functional swing plane, back and through, keeping the face a little bit square to the perpendicular to its plane. Okay, then all we do is tilt that down. Okay, so that's kind of the idea of the functional swing plane, is getting this through from waist high to waist high, or roughly around parallel to parallel, but that can even change. So that's the reason why, to me, that functional swing plane is just going to be down here. Whether we say it's not exactly right here, it could happen here, and it could end right here. So it doesn't have to be perfectly one particular spot because of the difference of anthropometrics and how the body moves. A lot of this can change, and that's what gets confusing is, well, club head can work on a plane, but that's different than what the hands are doing. So that's the reason why I particularly use that R-axis concept and look at it, what's happening right down here, because I know from this point, I'm going to come in at a lot of different angles, but guess what? I'm always going to try to hit the ball here so everything kind of comes together. And if you look at some of the research that you even talk about hammering back in the day, Professor Bernstein, and there's going to be variability in this motion, but it always comes together at a point. So the same thing right here. There's going to be variability in how that club head gets to the ball, but at the same time, we're trying to reach this point, and when we look at it, we only have a few degrees of where this plane needs to line up, and that face needs to be in order to hit the ball straight. So that's kind of an overview of what the functional swing plane is. There's a lot of information to that. And the biggest thing to understand is basically if we can get this club to swing through impact kind of in a square path, okay, we are going to be pretty good to do that. And so again, we don't want to see a lot of rotation of this type of motion, but this is still working on a particular plane back and through, okay? So let's define that functional swing plane very simply. If you think of this club head staying on a tabletop, staying right here, it's how that club moves through impact. It can work on a plane this way, it can work on a plane this way, but we were looking at this and we're just trying to minimize shaft rotation and keeping this whole club working together. And it can extend laterally and it can have rotation along this plane also. So if you stay in this area, check out more information at Humo.Golf about the functional swing plane. Check over Dr. Kwan's research on the functional swing plane, and that should kind of hopefully clear things up. A lot of information to do it. So thanks for watching. We'll talk to y'all soon. Later. Okay, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button and that bell to get notifications on when we post the next one.